Hello, Algebra 2 class. This is Mr. Weckesser, and we're learning today section 4-2, standard form of a quadratic function. We learned this the other day in class. We talked about the standard form. Standard form of a quadratic function looks like this. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We also learned the vertex form of define the vertex, and that equals y equals a parentheses x minus h plus k, where this is negative h and this is k, equals your x, y of your vertex. And a policeman just drove by, pulling people over. So that's your vertex form.
Don't take me, take David.
Please don't take the girl. All right, and today we're going to learn something new, another formula down here. We're going to scroll down a little bit here. We're right on top of the page so you don't forget this. And this is an important part. Whenever you see these in your notes, guys, Mitchell, David, Caitlin, these are important. And these are important because they tell you what's going to be on the quiz and test. Here is your standard form. Another formula that tells you in here is your axis of symmetry is right here. Your AOS is negative b over 2a. So it's very important to know. So we're going to scroll back up. Your AOS is negative b over 2a. So the b comes from this b, and the a comes from this a. You put that over the b over the a, times it by 2, give it a negative sign. That's your axis of symmetry. Okay, we also learned that a graph, a parabola, looks like this or like this. They're used usually. Caitlin, which one's negative? Which one's positive? Which one looks like it's negative? This one's negative. Kind of looks like a ghost from Pac-Man. Right? It has those little fridge things in the bottom. Right? And this one's a positive because it goes up. That one's negative because it goes down. Someone's playing with the popo. The popo is coming for you. So here we go. Circle the functions in standard form. Which ones look like functions in standard form? Great question.
It's Officer Williams was showing one of the special ed kids his car and he turned on the siren.
Good. Standard form, remember, is ax squared plus bx plus c. This looks like that. Does this look like ax squared plus bx plus c? No. Does this look like it? It doesn't, but it is right. It just has no bx right here. So it's missing this. So it's still an answer. It's a standard form. It's in the right format. And this one right here is not standard form, says the book, says the answer key, right? Next section, write each equation in standard form. So you're going to change these to look like it in standard form. So you need to have y first always. So you need to put these in y first format. So to get y first, you're going to subtract x on each side. So you have 2y equals negative x plus 17. How do we get y by himself now, Mitch? Divide the whole thing by 2. Right? So your answer, we're going to put it right below this vocabulary guy. Y is all by himself. equals negative 1/2 x, or you can just put x, or you can put negative x over 2. In 17 over 2, you can just keep like that. In algebra 2, we can keep all fractions like they are because we're allowed to. We like fractions in algebra 2. Whenever you see an x by itself in this chapter, guys, you're going to solve for 0. So you're going to subtract 5 from each side, like this. So this answer will be 2x minus 5 equals 0. That's standard form. Number 4. Again, we're going to solve for y. There's 2 ways to do this. The easiest way I'll show you first. The harder way I'll show you next. The easiest way to get y by himself is to do what, David? Yeah, subtract 2 on both sides. What's 5 minus 2? 3 minus x equals y. If you want to put it in standard form, you want to flip it all the way around, you can just put y equals 3 minus x, or x minus 3 is probably a little more accurate. Flip those around too. If you wanted to change everything, get y on this side by himself, you would subtract y to this side, then subtract 5 from this side, and add x to this side. It's a lot more steps. So David's plan was a lot better. So, questions. Awesome. Related words. A parabola, or as my last period called it, parabola, the disease that comes in 2022 to kill us all.
No, shut up. You're going to jinx us.
I could. Vertex, remember, a parabola is like one of these guys, right? Right? Positive or negative. The vertex is the point on the parabola, the highest or lowest point. And the axis of symmetry is the AOS, or the line that cuts a parabola right in half. So here's your axis of symmetry right there. Right? Definition. A quadratic function is a function that can be written in the form of this, like we said, where a is not equal to 0. The graph of a quadratic function is a parabola, or parabola. Right? Understood? Here's our examples. Y equals x squared. Y equals negative 3x squared plus 7. Function of x will be written like that sometimes. So you got to make sure you know function of x is a parabola. These are not examples. This is not good, it says. This is not good. This is not good. Do not do that. So remember, we're not going to master this. We're just learning the material. And on your quiz tomorrow, you just have to identify things that you learned from today. Not mastery level, but just regular level. Circle the graph of quadratic functions. Which ones are quadratic functions? Number 2 is correct. This is a positive one, says Caitlin, a positive quadratic function. Number 1 is a, absolute value function. This one is one you learn in grade school in Algebra 1. Is a linear function, right? Linear means straight line. So it's a linear function. And number 4, Mitchell, is that a quadratic function? Yeah. This is a negative one. Here's the vertex. Here's the AOS. And this is a negative sign here. Any questions? Okay, we're going to do problem number 1 and maybe number 2, but not 3 and 4 probably, because it's turn the page, your notes. What are the vertex, the AOS, the maximum and minimum values of this graph? So right away, we see it's negative 3. Is this graph going to be positive or negative? Negative. So this one is not correct. Circle the graph that is negative 3x squared minus 4x plus 6. We know this is going to be the intercept right there, negative 6 and negative 6. So that's okay. Now we should probably do, what we learned before was the negative b over 2a to solve for the vertex, right? So let's solve that, right? So let's put negative b, which is negative 4, right? A negative 4 is just 4. And then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So 4 over 6 equals negative 2/3, right? So negative 2/3 should be the axis of symmetry. This is your AOS formula, right? So which one has negative 2/3 as your axis of symmetry? This one or this one? Good job, Caitlin. This is correct. So we just did the AOS. So we know the AOS now. We're like geniuses. It's crazy stuff. So we draw and label the axis of symmetry on the graph. You circled in exercise 6. So we drawed it. We drew it, whatever the word is, right? Let's label that as negative 2/3. Oops. Negative 2/3. Right there. And it's also the x point. So this is the x point right here. So we could plug in negative 2/3 in this equation, and we're not going to do it now, and we'll get the y. The y is 7 1/3. So it's negative 2/3 and 7 1/3 is your vertex. That's your vertex up here. So we did this. We did this. Circle the range. What's the range? X or Y values? Y. Remember, domain, range. D becomes before R, and X becomes before Y. So the Y value is going to be everything underneath 7 1/3. Oh, look, all real numbers less than 7 1/3. Boom. I don't know where they got these numbers. 5, 6, 9.2. So they just made them up. Here's that thing I told you was very important. Put a star next to this. Take note, the properties of quadratic function in standard form. Here is your standard form when a is not equal to 0. If a parabola is less than 0, it opens what? Greater than 0. It opens up like this. So it's positive. If it's less than 0, it opens down. So it's negative. Like the Pac-Man. Meep, meep. That's the Roadrunner. Kaylee also makes that noise sometimes. Meep, meep. So kind of funny. Here is your axis of symmetry formula. The y-intercept is always your c value right here. So 0 and then your c value. So the y-intercept of this graph is going to be what? 0, negative 4. This is always where the graph hits the y, is right here. It's because you put 0 in for x right here and here. 0 is x is 0 for those. This is the only thing left. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple, my friends. Let's try problem number 2, and we'll be done for the day. And then tomorrow we'll do the homework and the quiz. What is the graph of y equals negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 5? Right? The axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. So what is b? B is going to be 2. 2 times a is negative 2. Right? What is 2 times negative 2? Negative 4 and 2 right here. How does that simplify, David? Negative 2 over 4. Negative 1/2. Good job, David. Substitute to find the y coordinates of the vertex. So we're supposed to substitute this number in for all the x's, guys. Instead of doing that, right, I'm going to give you the answer real quick. It's going to be, the y coordinate will be equal to 4, negative 4.5. So the vertex is 1/2 and negative 4.5. Try to make sure you write your fractions with a line straight across, not diagonal. I don't like fractions like this. just not kosher for math. You want to write it on top of each other. Like that. The y-intercept is what? -5. It's right here. The reflection of the y-intercept across the x-axis of symmetry is, so what is that? It's 1, -5. So now we're going to draw it. Plot the points, okay? What are the points we're going to plot? What are they? The vertex is 1/2, so let's go to 1/2 right there. And we're going down to what? -4.5, right about here. Right? The axis of symmetry is -5. So there's 6, there's 5, 6 right there, right? So, 4.5 should be a little higher then. So we should be like this. That's our sketch, just a quick sketch. Plot the points from exercise 13 to 14. Draw a smooth curve, right? Smooth curve. All right, we're not going to do problems 3 and 4. Skip page 88. Lots of words. Let's go to the next page. Do you understand? Right? A student graphed the function of this. Find the correct answer. The vertex of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c is -b over 2a. And the function of -b over 2a. Find the x and y coordinates of the vertex of that graph. Go. What? So basically, they want you to follow this right here. We're just going to find the x. The x equals -b over 2a. So what's the -b, Caitlin? What's b?
-4.
Yep, -4. But if it's -b, so a -4 is just +4. And what is a? A is 2. So 2 times 2 equals 4 also. So what's 4 divided by 4? Uno is correct. That is your x coordinate. Right? Your y, I'll give you real quick, is -5. So y is -5. So 1, -5. We're not going to solve for that guy just because it's fun. Number 27, find the y-intercept